Okay, we're in our astronomy gallery area again. This is another exhibit that we put together here at the Discovery Center. In my opinion, this is the most amazing exhibit in this gallery area. This is the one where when people do it, it really has that wow factor and it's really amazing. We didn't have any visitors to demonstrate this with, but I'll just show you how it works and we'll talk a little bit about, well, how it works and why it works. And maybe a little nugget about why we put this in an astronomy gallery, even though on the face of it doesn't really seem to have a lot to do with astronomy, okay? And the idea, we call it parabolic reflectors. I have seen this at other museums, and at other museums they often call these whisper dishes, okay? But we went with parabolic reflectors because we wanted it to have that astronomy focus and that astronomy emphasis, okay? Now the way the parabolic reflector works, it takes two people, okay? And writing the sign for how to do this was kind of complicated. We actually changed the sign 2 or 3 times because oftentimes people would stand on the wrong side of the ring. And as you can see across the room, about 20 feet away, there is a similar setup, okay? So people would stand on the wrong side of the ring and then on the wrong side of the ring over there. And they would basically just like yell at each other through the ring back and forth, which is decidedly not amazing or interesting, okay? But we rewrote the sign. We put these footprints here to show that you do it from this side of the sign, okay? And I'm sorry, from this side of the, well, it is a sign, but this side of the ring, okay? The way this works is these are old satellite dishes, okay? And they have this curved shape. And we did some calculations about the diameter of the circle and the depth of the dish to come up with the focal point of this, which was about 42 inches from the back of the dish. And that's where we place these rings, okay? And the way the exhibit works is one person, and I know it's actually sort of hard to believe, but one person just whispers. If you yell, you will hurt the other person's ear, okay? So you want to encourage people to just whisper. And you just whisper through this ring towards the dish. And over there, 20 feet away, the other person has their ear to the ring like this. And when you whisper in this one, and that person has their ear over there in the other one, it is absolutely amazing. It sounds like that person is whispering right in your ear. You can't believe they're not 2 inches away from you. And it is absolutely an amazing effect. I will say when we first put this exhibit together, and it was a little complicated to put together, like we used laser pointers, this sort of stuff to make sure that they're absolutely straight with each other, pointing exactly to each other. So they're pretty carefully set up. But even when we were not especially careful, like I came up here before setting these in the ground and just estimated 42 inches and tried them with another staff person. And even with a close estimate, like I was completely blown away with how well it works, okay? And so that's how you do it. You will see visitors doing it wrong, doing it from the wrong side or whatever, but you just have one person listen, the other person talk, and you can have an absolutely amazing conversation. And then even if a person is standing right here where you are standing holding this camera, for example, you will not hear any of what they're whispering. You cannot hear them at all. But if you've got your ear in the ring, I'm telling you, it's like they're whispering right in your ear. Now the way this thing works is that the sound of your voice goes through the ring, and it kind of goes out in a cone shape, it expands out in a cone shape, and this dish will bounce those sound waves in parallel lines over to that dish, which will reflect it back down into that cone. So the idea is a very little bit of sound, such as a whisper, can be broadcast out and then focused back down in a cone. Now the reason we put this in the astronomy gallery, there are other reasons, such as the really perfect physical setup and things like that, and we needed good and interesting ideas for the astronomy gallery, but this basic idea of having waves come in parallel and then focus down to a little point so something small can be detected is exactly how most of the really big telescopes in the world work. Instead of bouncing sound waves down to a point, they bounce light waves that are coming from distant stars or other celestial objects down to a point, so the very slight amount of light or input that we get can be made very noticeable, in this case very visible, or in the case of the exhibit, very audible, I guess you would say. But instead of using satellite dishes, they use mirrors. There are these bowl-shaped mirrors. And telescopes, like these giant, 10, 12-foot mirrors, the level of perfection and precision required for them is just insane. Thankfully, that level of precision and perfection not quite required for this exhibit. But that's why we put it in the Astronomy Gallery, to sort of demonstrate how these really giant mountain-side professional telescopes use mirrors, bowl-shaped mirrors, to focus a very small amount of light beams that are coming in parallel into a very fine point to make something that is very small and diffuse very noticeable and prominent. These do it with sound, telescopes do it with light.